Hello everyone, greetings from PayTabs technical support team. This video is dedicated to walk you through the different integration types supported by PayTabs APIs. Throughout the video, we will walk you through each of these integration types to learn more about it and choose the most suitable one for your business. So let's get started. Before we start, you need to know that you can find the full details for this video inside PayTabs support portal under the article called The Different Integration Types Supported by PayTabs. So let's move forward. PayTabs provide you with 4 different types of integrations, which are the hosted payment page, the invoices, the managed form, and the own form. Each one serves a specific business logic that you can use to fulfill your business needs. Starting with the hosted payment page from its name, this integration type is where we PayTabs create and manage the payment page for you. Simply, we will be sending a request that looks like this, contains the simple transaction details, and in return, you will be receiving the transaction response along with a redirect URL. You can then use this redirect URL to redirect your customers to the hosted payment page. Let's take a look at a more detailed example. If we are sending this request in a payment page that looks like this, once we send it and we receive the redirect URL, we can redirect your customer to the redirect URL and your customer will be redirected to something that looks like this. Here, they will be able to fulfill the payment and click on Pay Now, and after that they will be totally redirected back to your store. And here, there is an important note. Just because it's hosted payment page by PayTabs does not mean it can't be customized to have the look and feel of your business. What we are talking about here is that you can actually not redirect your customer to an external page. Actually, PayTabs provide you with a powerful feature called the iframe mode. Using the iframe mode, you will be able to embed this hosted payment page inside your checkout page to have a single checkout page. It will finally be looking something like this. The checkout details, along with it, the payment details, in one page. Also, one of the powerful features that PayTabs provide you are the customizing of the payment page theme. PayTabs give you ways that you can use to customize the theme of the hosted payment page to have the same look and feel of your business. All this is clarified and detailed in the hosted payment page integration manual. Moving forward to the next integration type, which is the invoices. The invoices actually adopts the hosted payment page mechanism. So simply, we will be creating a hosted payment page, but before it we will be creating a page called the invoice page. To take a more detailed look, we will be sending a request like the previous request, but this time we're having an object called the invoice. This object invoice gives you the power to fulfill the invoice details like the line items, the discounts, the VAT, etc. Once you send this request, we will be receiving, at the merchants, a simple response payload that contains the invoice link instead of the redirect URL. Once you receive this invoice link and redirect your customer to it, your customer will have an experience that looks like this. They are putting on the checkout or the Pay Now page. After that, they got redirected to here at an invoice page. This invoice page contains the details you provided in the invoice object. After that, they will have the option to click on Pay Now, and only then they will be redirected to the hosted payment page and have the same workflow as the hosted payment page. Now that we have learned more about invoices, we can move forward to the next integration type, which is the managed form. The managed form and the own form actually, which is the second two integration types, have more different workflow. Here, the merchant himself or herself is creating the payment page himself. So, you will not need to follow the hosted payment page mechanism of PayTabs. Instead, you will be creating your own payment form. And for the differences between the managed form and the own form from the name, we can see that in the managed form, you are just creating the payment form, but PayTabs is managing it for you. What will happen is, if you are using the managed form integration type, is that you will be sending a request that contains something like this. We can see here something called the payment token. Let's learn more about it. Simply, as we said, in the managed form, you are creating the form yourself. For example, you are creating a form that looks like this. Here, once you create the form, you will not be managing the card details inside this form. Instead, PayTabs will be changing these card form to something called the payment token. Once the card detail then changes them to the payment token, your customer will be finishing the payment, and from your side you will be sending a transaction containing the payment token, and the payment will be done successfully once we receive this request. The difference thing here is you are creating the form by yourself, you are customizing the form by yourself, but PayTabs is managing the fields of the form and PayTabs is making the payment. And the other way, or in the other hand, regarding the own form, you will be sending a request containing the card details, meaning we will be creating the form and also handling the card details by yourself. And here, once you create or capture the card details from the customer in the way that suits you, you will be sending us all the details. For both the managed form and the own form, you will receive two types of responses. If the customer is using a 3DS secure card or the customer is using a non-3DS secure card. For the non-3DS secure card, you will receive a response that looks like this, and from this 3DS secure card, you will receive something that looks like this. Now that we have learned more about the 4 integration types, let's have a recap about all of these 4 integration types. The 4 integration types are the hosted payment page, the managed form, the own form, and the invoices. For the hosted payment page and the invoices, we are creating as PayTabs the payment page for you. What's happened is you are sending a transaction request, you are receiving then a redirect URL, you are using this redirect URL to redirect your customer to, and your customer got redirected and pay, and then they got redirected back to your store or your website. The same thing goes with the invoices. The only difference is before the payment page, you have the option to create the invoice page, which then contain all the details for the invoice, like the line item detail, the discount, and etc. For the second 2 integration types, we have something that is called the managed form and the own form. In the managed form, the difference here, you are creating the form by yourself, but PayTabs is managing it for you. So you will be creating the form in the way and the look that feels you, but in the key fields of the form for the card details, PayTabs will have a way of managing it in order to change it to a payment token that you can then send this payment token to PayTabs, and PayTabs will be making the payment. So here, you will not be handling or controlling over the card details by yourself. You will just be controlling the payment form. In this last integration type, which is the own form, you will be having all the control over the payment form. From the look, the feel, the card details, and everything. You will be sending all the requests containing the card details, the form details to PayTabs, and PayTabs will just do the payment. Now, we have some features and consideration that we can compare with it through the 4 integration types. First, if you want to start integrate any of these 4 integration types, you can follow the integration manual mentioned here for each integration type. All of these integration manual contains a step-by-step process that will guide you through all the details you need to start integrating with this integration type. The second thing, if we are asking ourselves if payment page is hosted on PayTabs server or not, for the hosted payment page and invoices, of course it's hosted by PayTabs. As for the managed form and own form, the payment page is hosted by the merchant himself. Now, as for the managing, we can see that PayTabs is managing the hosted payment page, the invoices, and the managed form. The only one is totally managed by the merchant is the own form. Going to the second thing, which is the access to the card details, we can see that the first 3 integration type does not have an access to the card details. The only integration type that gives the merchant the access to the card details is the own form integration type. After that, if we are talking about customizing the payment page, actually all of 4 integration types gives you the ability to customize the payment page. The only difference here, as for the hosted payment page and the invoices, you are just customizing or changing the colors and the label of the payment page, but for the managed form and the own form, you are creating the full payment page by yourself. Moving forward to the customizing of the payment form yourself, in the hosted payment page and in the invoices, you don't have the ability to change the fields or the order of the field, but for the own form and the managed form, you will have this ability. The next thing is, which is the one-page checkout or the iframe mode. It is totally supported in 4 of the integration types. For the hosted and the invoices, you have the ability to embed the hosted payment page or the invoice page inside your store. As for the own form and the managed form, you are creating the form by yourself, so you will also have the ability to embed it in any place. For the PCI requirements, we have a certain PCI requirement for managed form and own form, but the hosted and invoices, we don't have any PCI requirement, meaning that you can start using them immediately. Now, regarding the supported payment methods, all the supported payment methods are available for the invoices and the hosted payment page. But for the managed form and the own form, we have only the card payments available. Next thing is the token-based transaction. If you are considering creating a sort of subscriptions or any kind of recurring payment, you can use the token-based transaction, which is supported by all 4 of the integration types. The second thing is about the response for the return and the post-payment response. For the return response, you have the ability in the hosted payment page and the invoices to return your customer, meaning to redirect your customer after payment to a certain URL inside your store. As for the managed form and the own form, you don't need to have that, as you are making the form by yourself, so you'll be redirecting the customer by yourself. For the post-payment response, you have the ability, or PayTabs provide you with the ability to receive a post-payment response for all kinds of integration. The same thing goes with the follow-up transaction, which you can do in all the types of integration, going through to the cancel before the actual payment. This can only be done through invoices, because the invoices we did not yet initiate the payment, so we can cancel the invoice and the merchant customers will not be able to pay this invoice. The second thing is sending via email and SMS, and this can only be done for invoices. As for the donation mode, the card discount, the card filter is only available for the hosted payment page. And finally, for the user-defined parameters, it's supported for all integration types. User-defined parameters are parameters that you can use to customize a certain parameter and send and receive it with the response. Finally, the payment method filters, which choose you a certain payment method inside the payment page, is only available via the hosted payment page and the invoices. To end this capture, or to end this details with something good, we have the details about if you are not a PCI certified. Don't worry, if you are not a PCI certified, you can start using the hosted payment page immediately, and if you want your customer not to be redirected out of your store, you can embed and use the iframe mode. Also, you have the ability to customize the UI of this hosted payment page by following the steps captured or detailed in our how to customize the pay page or the hosted payment page. For the managed form and the own form, you will be able to customize the payment page by yourself, but the difference only for the managed form is that you will not be able to customize the key fields of the form. And finally, for the own form, you will have the full control over the payment form, so you will be able to customize everything in it. I hope this video clarify you and give you a better understanding of our integration types.